Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Now I'm sorry it's been such a long time, it's been like a month break. I missed the final, semi-final, starts of the Premier League, but I had some stuff going on which I had to deal with, so I'm sorry for that, but we're back. I will be continuing with Premier League talk after this game week that we're in at the moment is finished, but right now I've got the BBC quiz about the World Cup up on my iPad, so I thought I'd do that and we can talk through some of the talking points. But yeah, obviously, we know Argentina won the World Cup in the most dramatic game I think I've ever seen in my life. It was something else, really a spectacle to watch. But yeah, let's just get straight into the quiz. So if we click start, I'll put it down here, as you can see, like I did with my predictions a couple of times. So the first question is, which team has now been knocked out in the quarterfinal stage a record amount of times? Now we know the answer to that is 100% England. They lost 2-1 to France, unfortunately, in the quarterfinals in what was quite a controversial game. Some of the refereeing decisions were thought to be quite, dodgy. But yeah, England obviously not. Oh God, pressed the wrong one. Never mind. But it is England. They obviously lost to France. France got to the final, beating Morocco in the semis. And if England had won that game, Kane obviously missed a penalty. If England had won that game, there was a chance they could have got to the final. They had Morocco in the semis, which may have been an easy game, we don't know. Anyway, move on to the next question. This one's actually quite interesting. Cameroon's Vincent Aboukar, he was the first player since Zidane to be sent off and score in a game in the win against Brazil. He scored the winning goal against Brazil and celebrated. He took his top off, but as he was already booked in the game, he got sent off because obviously it's a yellow card if you take your top off while playing. So scenes though, Cameroon managing to beat Brazil, though it was a Brazil B team because they'd already topped the group. They were through. He got sent off, first player since Zidane in the World Cup final of 2006, I believe. Scenes. Anyway, next question. So, in my opinion, behind the World Cup final, the game of the tournament, we had the quarterfinal versus the Netherlands with Argentina. Very, very dirty game. You obviously had Messi and the S-House 3 he gave to Van Gaal and his coaching team. You had Paredes booting the ball into the Dutch bench. It was something else. And there were a record number of yellow cards shown in this game. 18, I believe, was the number given out. And I am correct. So absolute scenes, honestly, it was something else. Argentina, I think Messi, he had a few where he handballed it, didn't get given a card. I mean, he was the only one who probably didn't get given a card. There were loads given out. It was a very high tension game. Netherlands obviously came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2, then to lose on penalties, which was very unfortunate. Yeah, cracking game. Anyway, next question. So it's asking me here, how many current players have scored at the 2022 World Cup? I think the answer is 25, but I'm not sure. I am correct. So 25 goals were scored between 25 players have scored 38 goals. Alvarez, I think, Man City striker, he topped it with 4. He was on fire throughout the whole World Cup, played so well. And actually in the Premier League, he's come back and hit a bit of form. 38 goals between 25 players. That's not bad at all. Obviously, we know the Premier League is the strongest league in the world, so it shows. But really good. Really, really good from that perspective. Move on to the next question. Now, one of the controversial bits of the World Cup, the added minutes in the group stage games. There were obviously 48 group stage games played in Qatar. And some of the added minutes were very questionable. I remember, I think it was an England game against Iran where there were 15 minutes of added time for the first half. Half-time break, there were 15 minutes added time. So I'm going to go for the biggest number here. I think it's 563 and I'm correct. I mean, it was ridiculous. It's showing me a photo here, 14 added minutes were added on at half-time. And it says here the equivalent of more than an extra 6 matches of football were added on to the end of halves. That is just a joke in 48 games, which is sort of understandable, but still that is just absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. Next question. Okay, now this one I might get a bit confused. So it says only 3 players have scored in the group stages at the past 3 World Cups. Ronaldo, Messi, and who else? Now it's going to be the options of Kane, Shaqiri, and Muller. Muller, I'm going to say no, because I don't think he scored in 2022. I think he scored in 2018. No, he scored this year, he must have done it. It wasn't 2018. Kane, no, he didn't score in this year's group stage. It's got to be Shaqiri. I mean, that man is a beast for Switzerland. Yeah, he's now scored 5 World Cup goals for Switzerland, which is pretty decent for a guy like him. And, you know, fair play to him. I mean, it's a tough thing to do to score in the World Cup. I obviously don't know, because I have no experience in that field. But you have to say fair play. And yeah, Ronaldo, Messi, he joins that list. Next question. So we know that the World Cup final was held between France and Argentina. Managers Lionel Scaloni and Didier Deschamps. It's asking me what do they have in common. Now the options are they both played in the World Cup. They were both previously teammates in Italy, and they have won both league titles as They have both won league titles as managers. Deschamps, I've only ever heard of him being the France manager, and Scaloni, I'm not sure what he did before. So I'm going to say they both played in the World Cup, because I know they both... Deschamps obviously won it as a manager and a player. Scaloni, I think, has played in it. So we'll go with him. And that's correct. Deschamps won the 1998 World Cup, obviously, and Scaloni played in the 2006 World Cup. So, yeah, interesting. And obviously, Scaloni coached Argentina to victory, which is a huge achievement, and fair play to him. Next question. So Messi equalled Matthias, the German great's appearance record when he started in the semi-final against Croatia, which was a pretty comprehensive 2-0 win for Argentina. But how many World Cup matches have they played in? Now it's going to be 20, 25 and 30 is the options. I'm going to go with 25 because that just seems reasonable. I'm correct again. And he will break the record. He broke the record obviously in the final. This is being asked just before the final. But yeah, Messi, by far, probably now, it's confirmed that he is the GOAT. Opinionated, others will have different opinions, but yeah, he broke the record in the final. So 26 appearances in the World Cup, that's something else. So, again, another question about Messi. He scored in the last 16 quarterfinal and the semi-final knockouts in Qatar. Since the last 16 was introduced in 1986, the last time Argentina won the World Cup, when Maradona led them to the win. How many other players have achieved that in a single World Cup? It's going to be the options of 3, 5 and 1. I'm going to go with 5 because I feel like Schneider, I know, was one of them. Yeah, so it says Shileli, Baggio, Stoikov, Suka and Schneider are the other players, and no player has scored in the final. Messi obviously did that, but at the time this was being asked, we don't know that. So yeah, next question. So how many goals have been scored by substitutes at the World Cup? Now, there have been a lot of substitute goals. I'm going to go with 30. I might be wrong. I'm correct. Obviously, Kolo Muani is the one that stands out to me. His goal against Morocco in the semi-final. Yeah, I mean, he's the quickest goal. It says here he scored the 3rd quickest goal by a substitute in the history of the World Cup, 44 seconds after coming on. France's semi-final win over Morocco was pretty comprehensive. Morocco surprised at the tournament by far. But yeah, there we go. Next question. So which World Cup first did Canada manager John Herdman achieve? Let's have a look. He was the first Englishman to manage another country at a World Cup. He was the only manager to lose all 3 group games without scoring a goal. And he has managed both a men's and women's team at a World Cup. So I'm going to say he's the first Englishman. It's not. He's managed both men's and women's teams at World Cups. That's a pretty impressive achievement. Obviously, Canada have quite a strong women's team as well. But yeah, we'll go on to the next question. He's managed both New Zealand and Canada at a Women's World Cup. So Portugal's Gonzalo Ramos has scored the only hat-trick of the World Cup. How many have been scored in World Cup history? I don't know. I'm going to go with 53. Correct. Obviously, he came in for Ronaldo, bagged a hat-trick against Switzerland in that 5-2 win. It's an incredible performance. Yeah, the first World Cup hat-trick was scored by American against Paraguay in 1930, apparently. Anyway, next question. That's it, actually. I scored 10 out of 12, and it says I'm a sporting genius. But yeah, I have to say the World Cup was one of the best I've watched in a while. Obviously, I only say I've watched 4. This is the 4th one I've watched, but it was definitely a standout. It overdid expectations. I think a lot of people were sceptical of it being held in Qatar. But that final, I think, just rounds it off. It was something else. And yeah, it was something else. And we look forward to 2026 in Mexico, Canada, and the USA. But anyway, I'm sorry it's been such a long time since I've uploaded. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you for Premier League talk after this game week. See you guys.